what would you rather do? Be in the dome or be outside? Like, is there any advantage to you in terms of being outside? Welcome to QB Unplugged with superstar NFL quarterback Deshaun Watson and me, myself, Quincy Avery, the quarterback consultant. Brought to you by Lockerverse. Tap in for exclusive content. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, all that stuff. Keep y'all folks coming back and make sure you get notifications. Each week, we bring a unique perspective from the quarterback position, top high school, college, NFL players, all that. And of course, the perspective of Deshaun Watson. D4, what it do?
What's good, QA?
Man, how you feeling? How we doing? You know what I'm saying? The folks on the internet, on the interwebs, they talking. What's the situation?
Yeah. Situation good, man. We're in a great spot, right where we need to be, right on track. We got, plenty of time to wrap up the throwing sessions and things like that, but everything been going pretty smooth, man. So, along with I'm feeling well, and the doctors and the PTs and everyone on the same page, we are in a good spot.
Yeah, it was cool to see Kev kind of start talking about, I think at the head coaches meeting, he came out and said, that you were throwing, that things are going smooth. You feel like that though? You feel like your shoulder's in a good spot, throwing wise?
Yeah, most definitely. We're in the early stages too. You know what I'm saying? So been a week, 2 weeks, the new phase, as we call it, pretty much call it in the PT rehabbing world, is the performance, rehab. So, we don't move past the recovery. We don't move past the strength kind of base. And now we're in the performance where we're getting ready to kind of throw the receivers and things like that. So, we're in a good spot, man. And like I said before, it's just one day at a time. That's all we can do.
I was super excited. I do think it's funny, right? So after the podcast came out, the last joint, folks on the internet talking like, oh my God, such and such came out to throw. You did this, you did that. It's like people take a very, very minimal amount of information. Even how, and Joker was talking about, like, people don't know 98% of the stuff that y'all go through. People don't know 98% of the stuff that's really going on. And like, the leaps and the connections that they try to make based on the stuff they see, like on a podcast. Oh, and Joko's in LA with them and they're throwing this, that, and the third. It would be wild to me for like another NFL player to go to a throwing workout with another NFL player during the rehab, like play catch.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like, man, especially Twitter. The Twitter space is just all over the place. You never know. You don't know what's real, what's fake. So it's just kind of like, you just got to stay to the script and, and do your part as far as just kind of like letting all that stuff kind of be. You know what I'm saying? Everyone thought that, me and Chief was coming out here to throw 50 routes. You know what I'm saying? It was a good link up, the bros linking up. We did the podcast live for a little bit, and then, we continue to keep working. So, yeah, I think, people just try to jump the gun a lot and try to be the first one to get the information, and it's not even like that.
Yeah, and I think that the cool part is just how cool you and Chief are. Like, because there's a lot of people like Chief in LA wouldn't come, because LA is hard to get around. Where he was at, where we were at, for him to be like, man, I want to make sure I go pull up on y'all boys and do the podcast. I think that is a bigger testament than somebody coming to a rehab workout. But that's just
for sure. I seen, I don't know if you seen the tweet. I think Debo said it. When I think he said something about the fans, because I guess the fans was saying some stuff, but I think he said something, and I totally agree with him. I think it was like, I gotta find the tweet, but it was something in a phase of just kind of like, athletes have time, like in the off season, we can go out, we can enjoy ourselves, we can go on vacations, we don't have to always post workout of football 24/7. You feel what I'm saying? Like people can have a life outside of career. Exactly. Hello? So they're just kind of like I want to go link up with a player, my homie that plays for another team. Like we can do that. You know what I'm saying? Or
we can go throw with each other. We can go do that.
Yeah. Like it's not even
we'll throw with other quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? We'll throw with, recently we've been around a lot of other quarterbacks. Talking ball, like sharing information. And it's not, I don't think it's the way, it's not like a hatred between you and other players.
Nah.
And even like you see what Travis Kelce's going through right now. Like there was a picture of him walking on the beach with Taylor Swift.
Right.
Not granted, you know what I'm saying? It's an off season. You're going to put in a little off season fluff. He's been running nonstop, working out, eating like a pro football. He was puffy. He was puffy for sure.
Oh,
but fans getting
shit. If I was Travis, I would be too. Shout out to Travis, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Hey, it's working.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing that.
Yeah, it's working. And I mean, people just gonna always try to bash. That's the worst part about it is people always try to find something negative in whatever they're doing. Bro got 3 Super Bowls, All Pro, gonna be a Hall of Famer. Like, man, go enjoy yourself, bro. You only get this life.
Just want a Super Bowl
one time. Yeah, but the biggest thing too is just like you only live this life one time. You get to experience it one time. So when you at work, when you put in the work, you know you're gonna go 110%. But when I'm having my fun, I'm gonna enjoy myself too. Because I mean, life you can't take it for granted, and I don't want to be looking back, feeling like I missed out or I should have did this or I should have did that differently. You know what I'm saying? Like life is too precious for all that.
Get one run around the sun, and you better make it count.
So we're going to hop right into it. You got an open formation. You got 2x2 detached.
Yep.
So what are you looking at right now? So we're starting early, and I think we missed the motion. So we start 3x1.
Correct.
And we're going to motion. Are you trying to pick up any information with that motion?
Yeah, so the motion is really seeing if the defense is going to unfold. Are they going to stay 2 high shell or are they going to go 1 high shell? And right now they're showing that they're going 1 high. But usually when teams do that, especially late, sometimes they roll down, but, you know, with this team, they kind of show and they bail back out to what they really want to show. You know, if they were stand down, if it's man, obviously it's not man, the corners will be pressed. The boundary guys press because he's closest to the ball and he's in the boundary, so he can kind of disguise a little bit more. But the field guy and the nickel is pretty much going to show, all right, what is going to be, man or zone. So I'm thinking it's zone, so I'm working down here in the boundary back to the field.
So as soon as you know it's zone coverage, you go boundary. Now this, the reason that I like this play, right, it reminded me so much of the things that I used to see from you before. This drop is really, really simple, right? But it's a drop that you did all the time coming down in Houston. And I think a lot of times you were waiting on Hop to run a route just like this, right?
Correct.
DPJ runs like a 5-step speed in right here. And you got to throw this thing right off of his ear. So it's the anticipation, this ability to put the ball on his chest. Who are you reading? And I'll take it to this behind the view. So who are you reading on this play?
So my eyes peak number 2. All right, where does the mic go? Does the mic go to the boundary or do he flow with the back?
So when you see number 2 get wide?
Exactly. My eyes go straight back to, all right, where's 24, the will?
Mm-hmm.
So right when I'm getting the snap, I feel 2 go to the field. Mm-hmm. So now I'm working my read, my progression. Now I can high-low 24. And with Jordan, he's running pretty much a 5-yard sit route, and then DPJ is coming right behind the wheel. The wheel loses vision of DPJ, so he can't guard DPJ unless he just reading my eyes. So if I can kind of keep him on the outside like my shoulders was going, and then, you know, just being a football player, reacting to where DPJ is going to be, I can keep my shoulders pretty much pointing at Akins and deliver the ball to DPJ.
Yeah, so when I see it, I really, really like it. Now, I'm going to be nitpicky here, right?
Of course.
I think that my job is always to be like, I think we can do this a little bit better. And what I mean by that is it's not that you threw a really good ball, right? All the things are on time. But I think that there's a level of it. I think when you're playing at the highest level, now you don't throw this ball after he beats him.
Correct.
You feel this leverage here now. And as soon as he realizes this ball's being thrown now, right? I think when you do that, you throw this ball now DPJ may be able to catch this thing and
he
really
can split the safeties and get on the side. And I definitely agree with that. I think even going back to my drop, though, is, all right, cool, I'll take my shuffle, but the extra bounce.
The extra hitch,
I don't
right?
need the extra hitch or bounce in my drop where I can anticipate it even more.
Yep, so off of that first hitch, right?
Exactly.
1-step slide, 2-set reset.
So really right here, boom, slide, I can sit there. But that quick little second bounce is the difference between a 15, 16-yard play or a touchdown. You know what I'm saying?
And I think those are the details that I think people don't really look at enough. Is like just this extra hitch. It's not crazy.
Correct.
Ball should be out, and you just did an extra one, right? And that's the difference between that play. Maybe, I don't know if he's going to score, but he might get 6-7 extra yards, right? Like, all those yards are so valuable in an NFL game. Still a great play. It's just like, all right, we can still get better, right? Look, I was chasing greatness.
Man, I'm not sure if you heard the news or heard what's been going on. Mr. Haslam, you know what I'm saying, announced the extension, or that they plan to start negotiating the extensions of Stefanski and Barry. He did it smart. He announced it right then, but he also announced something else. And I think that those two extensions, super big deal. I think that we've always talked about
Definitely
how much
got a lot of them, man.
Yeah, how big of fans we are of both those guys. But they talking about new stadium for the Cleveland Browns. One option is doing a $1 billion renovation to the current Cleveland Browns stadium and staying outside.
Yeah.
Or, I think they already bought the land, but Brook Park near the airport, it seems crazy. Like, fans seem upset about moving the stadium from where the stadium's at now to Brook Park. But to me, it doesn't seem like that far of a drive. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not even like a real suburb.
No, it's not. I mean, I can see why fans, because Cleveland, first off, Cleveland and the fan base is very traditional, like very passionate. So once it's one way, that's kind of like, it's kind of hard to change. You know what I'm saying? It's not too much changing going on. So like, hey, they like this type of direction. This is the direction they're gonna go. But I think that you can tell with just all the franchises and in Cleveland, it's changing. The vibe, the aura for football, it's not the same as it used to be since they came back. The vibe, the energy, the players, the people we're bringing in is different. Same with basketball, and I guarantee you baseball is going to catch up and do the same thing. So like, you got to be able to grow, and you want the city to be able to expand. And I think that, with the Haslams, I haven't talked to them personally about the stadium, but I think in their eyes, they're looking at it like, look, this is the opportunity for us to be able to grow Cleveland, have more events in the offseason, host a Super Bowl, concert, WWE matches, boxing matches, like all types of stuff that can actually have that possibility when you create that new stadium dome. But then you see on the other side where, the fans, they like the lake effect, they like the win. But as players, like, we can play in a dome. I'm pretty sure.
You a quarterback, right? You somebody who has to grow in these elements, you know what I'm saying? You have to actually go through the effects of throwing in a dome versus throwing outside. And I think that it's difficult for Cleveland quarterbacks to put up the statistical success, right? Because you play all those home games and you get like a crazy wind game or super rainy or it's cold and people have a hard time catching there's all these different things and elements. Like, what is your thought process on what would you rather do, be in a dome or be outside? Like, is there any advantage to you in terms of being outside?
I mean, it's definitely an advantage. Like, if anybody can sit here and say that it's not an advantage especially for quarterbacks to play inside and are warm, then you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, dry ball and being able to throw the ball without no wind or no lightning or rain, nothing, is definitely key. But so I would say, if I had to pick, of course I'm gonna go to the dome and the new facility and the lights and all that stuff. That's gonna bring more money to the city, but it's gonna have the team, even more excited. But if they redo the stadium on the lake, it's not gonna be bad either, because people hate coming to Cleveland and playing at that stadium. It's one of the toughest environments to play in, and we're gonna use it to our advantage. So I get that side too. But at the end of the day, you still gotta play football. So if I had to pick, I'm choosing the dome. I'm rocking with the dome. I'm rocking with the new lights and all that stuff, and the turf, grass, whatever we pick. That's what I'm going with for sure.
I just want to know how they'd be able to do it. If you do $1 billion in renovation, it's gonna take some time. So y'all gonna be playing in Columbus? Y'all gonna go down to Ohio State to play y'all home games? I don't think that's necessarily what y'all want to do. Another great environment. I think that the Cleveland Browns fans, it's tough to play Cleveland Browns because the Cleveland Browns fans are wild. I don't care if you're in Brook Park. I don't care if you're in downtown Cleveland. I feel like they're gonna bring the energy. And there's gonna be more space for them to tailgate.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they got the muni lot. They're gonna be really able to turn up over there. They're gonna have the restaurant. They're gonna be drunk from the restaurants. They're gonna be drunk from whatever they call the new lot, they will have
different.
the whole vibe, the whole experience. I, for one, as someone who's a fan of quarterback play, playing at the highest level, I truly hope that whatever they do, they can find a way to put a roof over the stadium. Because who wants to see quarterbacks? I want to see whatever, not even just quarterbacks. I just want to see football players be able to play at their highest level. And I think that is accomplished with a dome. I hope y'all can do grass in a dome. You know what I'm saying? Turf in, turf out, like Las Vegas. But whatever it looks like, I really hope that you guys get somewhere where it's going to be a roof over your head and that wind ain't snapping around whatever the stadium's called.
For sure. Yeah, I know one thing for a fact. Whatever the Asms choose to do, it's going to be top notch. Most definitely.
Dog ain't cutting no corners. He ain't cutting no corners that I see.
Nah. Yeah, Jimmy is not cutting no corner.
We're moving into the NFL draft season, right? We got all these quarterbacks, lots of stuff going on. Have you been seeing or watching any of the pro days?
I haven't been watching any of the pro days. I've been kind of, from afar on Twitter with my phone and kind of checking out guys and things like that. I've always, every year, just kind of had that feel of just kind of who's the new group of guys coming in. You know what I'm saying? Who are the guys that, we might end up drafting and bringing into our organization. Guys that I'm going to have to work with or, play with and things like that. So I definitely try to keep track of it, but usually it's through Twitter or social media.
Yeah, I think that it's been harder to find pro days this year, just overall watch the content, like all the throws. You can search them on YouTube, find something. But what I found most shocking was people saying that Mike Penix ran a 4.46 today. Like 4.46 is dumb fast. And I've never seen
That's fast.
I've never seen Penix run for any substantial yards. Right? He's never
that's what I'm trying to think. Especially not in Washington. Maybe he was in Indiana before that, right?
Mm-hmm. I remember I asked him about being a runner back when he was in college in Indiana. He's like, bro, I don't run. If you ran a 4.4, you're going to find a way to run. I don't care if you're a runner or not a runner. Hello? Like, even CJ Stroud.
Use the legs.
CJ is probably like a 4.7 guy, but the way he ran versus Georgia, you're like, oh, he can use his legs. I've never seen a game or an experience where I'm like, oh, Penix can use his legs. I've never once thought that of him as someone who could add to the game with their legs or do something special.
Yeah, especially the last two games, the two playoff games too. That's when you really the use your legs because you're playing against better competition. So guys are not open as usual, and you just got to create more because they got good D linemen. You didn't really see that, especially in the national championship where Michigan caused their O-line to have a lot of problems. He didn't really move. Like, you wasn't thinking like he's a dual threat guy that's going to get out of the pocket and make something happen like the Michigan quarterback JJ did with his feet. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, yeah.
The biggest thing to me, especially as a young quarterback, is that ability to do stuff with your legs, right? Because you're going to find times where you just don't know what the defense is doing. Like, you're just tricked, right? They got you. Right. You've got to be able to add with the element of your legs. Like, I always go back to your first start, that Thursday night game versus Cincinnati, where you use your legs. Like, you scramble, you make that big touchdown run, right? And you weren't seeing things super clear, and you needed, like, I got to make a play. And sometimes you can rely on that raw athleticism. I think that's what allows guys, especially early on in their career, the ability to have success early on so that they can move down the line and be, the quarterback that they want to be, get the reps that they need.
No, yeah. And not even just for guys that's super young, but for just even guys that's in the league playing this position, especially early in the game or even late in the game, it helps create a dysfunction for the defense because they got to worry about something else. You get anytime, get out and get 10 yards, you got to think too, like the defensive coordinators during practice, during training camp, they're telling the D-line, regardless of where the ball is, sprint to the ball. You never know when you're going to have a cutback and things like that. So the more times you can get the D-lineman, especially the best pass rushers, running side to side and using your feet and being able to escape, and you're not taking sacks or yardage for loss, that creates that type of dysfunction for the defense. So now things can really be opening up, and it helps you see the defense like you just said. So, a lot of people, tend to try not to run, but when you can, take off.
Do whatever you can.
Oh, most definitely. the key is score as many points as the opponent. I don't care how you do
Hello.
it. High look, score as many points more than the opponent. Hey, you win, and the rest is history.
Welcome to the Q4 segment, where we close out the show with the top 4 list from D4, Deshaun Watson. This week, we're going to do it a little bit different. We got a mock NFL draft. I'm going to give them the 4 teams that are starting out the draft. We got the Chicago Bears, Washington Commanders, New England Patriots, Arizona Cardinals, and he's going to give me the 4 selection for those teams. But last week, my dog Ben Smith gave us some real good insight. He heard the list of the top 4, you know what I'm saying, heard your restaurants, and he said, Ben Smith, well, let me get it right. At Ben Smith 205 said, Deshaun, you got to try Sweet Pork Wilson's barbecue joint in Cleveland. Shit's fire. All right, he was very adamant that the shit's fire. So that's somewhere you need to try out. But let's get back to Q4.
Oh, trust me,
all right?
Ben, I'm trying that because being from the South, barbecue is definitely on the list, and I haven't found no barbecue in Cleveland, so I definitely got to try that for sure.
Sweet Pork Wilson's barbecue, we on it. All right, we just gonna make it happen. All right, so let's get to the draft. I'm gonna give you a team. I'm gonna give you some of the people who are available in the draft first, just so you know what's going on. We got Caleb Williams, of course, quarterback. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Roma Dunze, Malik Neighbors, Brock Bowers. I think those are the real names for those top picks. So who you got? You on the clock, Chicago Bears. Who's going to be the first selection?
Chicago, of course, Caleb. We're on Caleb.
Caleb Williams.
Easy.
Okay.
Yep.
Pick number 2, Washington Commanders.
Washington, you got to get your franchise quarterback.
We're going Daniels. We're going Jaden Daniels.
You going Jaden Daniels? You know what's crazy is I've been hearing talk about J.J. McCarthy at 2 over Jaden Daniels. And I've also been hearing talk about Jaden Daniels at 1 to Chicago Bears. So it's crazy how I think that they just have to create conversation. But let's go to number 3, New England Patriots.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I respond to that because what I thought was interesting was Kingsbury. He was just in USC, right? With Caleb.
Yeah.
He was going to Chicago, and then he switched and went to the Commander. I thought
he had
that was kind
whole
of
day
weird.
long interview with Chicago. It was like there for a whole day. Yeah, he had a lot going on.
So I don't see Chicago passing up on Caleb. So I'm gonna go Caleb, Jaden. 3 is the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them. Do you think they take a quarterback?
I mean, they got Jacoby. They didn't pay Jacoby like someone I love Jacoby to death. I'm just saying they didn't pay Jacoby.
For sure. But at least Jacoby can start this year and be very, very good and productive for them.
But
as you build a roster.
The thing that's difficult, though, is Jacoby will be good enough to prevent them from getting an early draft. It's not just Jacoby's going to play well enough or they win too many games to be picking this high again. So I would rather.
But you know how this business is.
Yeah.
It's kind of like you never know where or quarterback's gonna come around. So it's like, yeah, but then again, you're taking a risk for the young guy. If the roster is not up to par to where like a Chicago, like Caleb, you know what I'm saying? Like, are they gonna pull? People were talking about CJ and Houston not being as good, but like the real football fans know, like CJ's a baller. You know what I'm saying? And like they're getting a dog, and Houston always have, regardless of what their record, even when I was there, like they were always athletic and very, very good in the way they ran their kind of roster. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can't live like that's going to happen every year. You know?
So what you going to do? At 3, what you going to do? You New England Patriots.
I'm taking Marvin, for real.
That's tough. If I'm New England Patriots, I'm trading back. Like, I'm going to trade back. I'm going to get some more assets.
I was going to say that, but I was like, I mean, if you had to take a pick, I didn't know if we were trading and stuff like that.
If I got to take a pick, I'm probably taking Drake May because Drake May's feet were really bad to me. I'm going to take Drake May. I'm going to let him sit behind Jacoby. I'm going to give him that Patrick Mahomes year. Like, get your Patrick Mahomes year. Learn how to run an NFL system from a real vet. I mean, you know the value of Jacoby in a quarterback. Like, you've experienced that. Like, he's a pro's pro. He does a great job every day.
Sure,
I think
but you got to give Jacoby some athletes. So you give him a young franchise guy that's going be probably.
And get Marvin, you're going to do some numbers. I don't even think Marvin's going to be the first QB off the board, though. I think it's going to be Neighbors from LSU. I think it's going to be Neighbors. So, all right, you got those three going. You got your fourth pick. What you got with Arizona Cardinals?
So I got 2 quarterbacks, a receiver. I was going 1 more receiver, and I was going Neighbors.
Neighbors out of LSU.
You gotta give Murray some talent. Yeah, you gotta give him something.
They just got rid of the
cool
top
with
receiver.
either one of those. Yep. Hollywood. He went to the Chiefs.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna need some pieces. I really hope New England trades down. I think that there's gonna be 4 quarterbacks that go in the first round, and if he really ran that 4.4, he's gonna be. When I say if my dog Penix really ran a 4.4, he's also gonna be in first round. D.Y.
So that's 5.
You got something coming up next week. You know what I'm saying? Tell the people what we got going on April 4th.
Yeah, man. So April 4th, in Cleveland, Ohio, opening. My franchisee with my brother Sam Berry out of Detroit, Lefty's Cheesesteak. We're opening the first one in I think it's Ohio if I'm not mistaken, but for sure in Cleveland, April 4th, 11 a.m. So make sure y'all there. If you're in Cleveland, stop by, pick up a cheesesteak, come hang out. Lockerverse is gonna be there. Other people are gonna be there. Some teammates gonna be there. The whole city's gonna be there, man.
We shoot the show live. Y'all pull up.
So make sure you pull up April 4th, Cleveland, Ohio. We'll make sure you get the address. Lefty's Cheesesteak is opening up, man, and we want to bring some energy to Cleveland. Some new opportunities for people around Cleveland to come work and experience, and we're doing it right. If you don't eat left, you don't eat right.
Hello. Man, I want to give a special shout out to the Browns fan, the entire Dog Pound. Make sure y'all continue to tap in, subscribe, like, all those things. And when you get on Lockerverse, join that Dog Pound community. I want to thank you guys for joining us. We continue to get more and more listeners. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you leave a comment. Let us know what you want to see more of. We'll make sure you give you more of that. But that's it. Signing out. QB Unplugged. I'm Quincy Avery. My partner, Defoe, Deshaun Watson.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you next week. Live and in person. We gonna see you next week.